A damaged historic landmark in Washington, D.C. has turned into a much bigger political story. What started as an investigation into damage at the Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool quickly became a debate about evidence, accountability, and the way political battles are fought in modern America. The controversy has attracted attention because the case involved one of the most recognizable symbols in the United States. The Lincoln Memorial is not just a tourist attraction, it represents a major part of American history and national identity. But as new information emerged, questions began to appear about what actually caused the damage and whether early accusations were supported by evidence. Today we will look at what happened, what is confirmed, what remains disputed, and why is this small incident becomes a part of a much larger discussion about trust in American institutions. The Lincoln Memorial in Reflecting Pool is one of the most famous public spaces in Washington, located between the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument. Millions of visitors see it every year. Images of the pool have appeared in historic moments, including major speeches and national events. The controversy began after damage was discovered in the pool area. Initial claims suggested the damage was caused intentionally, leading to investigation. Authorities examined the situation and looked into whether the damage was the result of vandalism or another cause. At that stage, different explanations began circulating. Some officials suggested that the damage was deliberate. Others questioned whether there was enough evidence to support this conclusion. This difference became the center of the debate. In legal case, accusations must be supported by evidence. Investigators must determine not only what happened but also who was responsible and whether there is enough proof to move forward. According to reports connected to the case, later findings raised questions about the original explanations. The possibility emerged that problems with installation work or construction process may have contributed to the damage. This changed the direction of the case. Instead of simple story about international destruction, the issues became more complicated. The focus shifted toward questions about contractors, construction quality, and whether mistakes during installation played a role. This development created political reactions because the incident had already become a part of large national debate. In the United States, even small events can quickly become a political symbols. Supporters have one side may see the situation as proof of government's failure. Opponents may argue that political pressure caused officials to make conclusions before all facts were available. This pattern has become increasingly common in American politics. A single event can move from a local issue into a national argument within an hour. Social media, political messaging, and 24 hours news coverage often accelerate this process. The larger issue is not only about a damaged pool, it is about public confidence. Trust in institutions depend on whether people believe investigations are based on facts rather than political pressure. When early claims later changed, many citizens being asking questions. Why was the first explanation different? Were officials too quickly to make conclusions? Were political interests influencing the discussion? These questions are not unique to the United States. Many democracies around the world face similar challenges when political competition becomes intense. The intense the incident also highlighted the growing importance of information management in the politics. Today, government and political groups operate in an environment where information spreads instantly. A statement made today can influence millions of people before investigators complete their work. This creates a difficult challenge. Officials must communicate quickly, but they must also avoid presenting uncertain information as confirmed fact. When early claims later change, public trust can suffer. This is a problem faced by government around the world, from election disputes to international crises. For the United States, these debates carry international importance. America often presents itself as a model of democratic institution, rule of law, and transparency. However, political conflicts inside the country can influence how other nations view American stability. Rivals of the United States often use domestic controversies as example of to criticize American governance. Allies also play attention because political stability affects foreign policy decisions. A country global influence depends not only on military and economic strength but also on confidence in institutions. Another important part of this story is the role of contractors and government oversight. The larger public projects involve many organizations, including government agencies, private companies, engineers, and construction teams. When something goes wrong, responsibility can become difficult to determine. Was it poor planning? Was it technical mistake? Was there a failure in supervision? These questions often require daily detailed investigations. Public infrastructure projects around the world face similar challenges. From bridges to government buildings, mistakes can happen even in highly developed countries. The key question is how quickly and transparently authorities respond. The reflecting pool controversy also demonstrate how political environment can influence public perception. Different groups may interpret that the same event in completely different ways. One side many may focus on government accountability and other may focus on political exaggeration. The challenge for journalists and citizens is spreading confirmed facts from political messaging. A democratic system depends on this distinction. Facts should become before conclusion, evidence should become before accusations, and investigations should be allowed to reach their result without unnecessary pressure. At this point, the most important lesson from this controversy is not the physical damage itself. The bigger lesson is about how modern societies handle information, responsibility, and public trust. In an era where every event can become politically charged. Government and must be carefully with their statements. Citizens must also examine information carefully and look beyond headlines. A strong democracy is not one where mistakes never happen. A strong democracy is one where mistakes can be investigated openly, responsibility can be identified, and, and institutions can correct themselves when a new evidence appears. The Lincoln Memorial will remain one of America's most important symbols, but the controversy surrounding its reflecting pool shows something much bigger about today's political world. Small events can become a major nation debate. Legal questions can become political battles, and a public trust can depend on how honestly institutions respond when facts change. As investigation and discussion continue, the focus should remain on evidence, transparency, and accountability because in any democracy, trust is built not by avoiding difficult questions but by answering them with facts.